So, this was going to be all sorts of other different videos, but I guess I just decided to ramble about a feeling that I've had. From time to time on YouTube, somebody will close their channel because they just decide that the channel is not something that they want out there anymore. For whatever reason, people get their reasons, like their job's gonna find their YouTube channel and fire them, or, their family found it and they don't like them talking about what they're talking about, or the drama on YouTube got too much to bear and they decided that this is just not the forum for them. Trolls follow them in comments, whatever. And when this happened, I would make a video called YouTubeicide, and I did a whole bunch of them because I felt like it was very important to mark that somebody was here that was engaging in conversations where half of the conversation's record is now gone. And this is not one of those cases where the person decided to leave YouTube on his own, but I felt like it's going to affect the YouTube community in much the same way. And I'm talking about Nick Bravo. Recently, on February 25th, you can look up on the LA Sheriff's Department's website, you can see that Nick Bravo was arrested, and he is facing charges regarding fraud, and he's got his bail set over $300,000, which means it's very serious fraud. Now, prior to this, I had not been Nick Bravo's closest friend, but I had been close enough online to have some genuine moments with him, because I just treated him like a human being. I didn't take everything that other people had said about him in the past into account when I was dealing with him. I just, gave him a clean slate, and he really appreciated that. And our online dealings were very brief, each one of them. I did talk to him on the phone a couple times 2 years ago, but we weren't very close. He was always in the periphery of things that I would see and do on YouTube and on Facebook. But I did appreciate some of the nicer comments that he would leave on my YouTube channel videos and on Facebook. He was genuinely a nice guy to me. But I know that he had a falling out with Happy Cabby, and a lot of people liked to dog this guy because he was just very lampoonable to them. And that's something that I just didn't agree with on the grounds that I felt like a lot of it had to do with his looks. Friend or not, Nick Bravo is fugly, or was fugly. He had some procedures done to fix a lot of what was wrong, but Nick Bravo had the voice and face that I would only cast in the role of Splinter for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And he had a dream of being a Hollywood star, but I just didn't see him doing much before he had his procedures. And even after that, he still had a very unique look about him and a very unique voice. Very, very strange. It would have worked well with comedy and, sketch comedy and stuff, but I don't think it would have worked well for any dramas, But he had a dream. And I think a lot of people got introduced to his videos from the I Am Winning video, which got so many parodies that popped up about it. And for that video, I thank him because, that was his greatest 15 minutes of fame. That entertained people. That was awesome. And unfortunately, I don't think he's going to have any moments greater than that ever again. I understand some of the details of the fraud that he committed, but I don't know everything. I know that he was charged and others have not been so far. And I know that he did not have it within his resources to find people to defraud as they were defrauded, and he did not have it within his resources in his personality to really be able to pull off a confidence fraud. I mean, if you saw somebody with his looks and voice coming at you, you're immediately thinking Carney that's trying to con me, So I know he had help with what went down, and I know that there's public records to that help regarding the estate that was defrauded and the parts of it that were sold off. The agents that were used, their names are out there, and they're names that we all know as YouTubers. It's like, it's a very small world, but just it seems like because Nick was the primary benefactor of the fraud, he's getting hit with the big chicken dinner court case. So looking at it, one of the feelings that I had was I'm happy that he did not hurt someone as much as frauds normally do. The primary party that was harmed in his fraud was probably the state of California. It was almost a victimless fraud, almost. And I look at it kind of like a Robin Hood story. Steal from the rich, give to the poor, kind of thing. But it's one where I can empathize with the extra motive he would have for going through with this fraud, given what he used the money on. What did Nick Bravo end up using all that money on that he explained away as inheritance on YouTube? What did he use the money on? Fixed his jaw, his palate, his teeth, to where he actually looked like a person who might actually get casted to play something in at least a comedy, He used it for therapy because he had some issues. He used it to buy a Mustang, which, I understand that maybe he felt that was a status symbol, or maybe he just liked it, but he was doing things to better his image. And some of those things cannot be taken away from him. The Mustang was. In the end, he had to get rid of that. But if he had not pulled off that fraud, he would not have ever had a chance at making it through any casting call except as an extreme freak show joke. And I know that's harsh, you know, but his looks were handicapping him, you know, seriously. And this was a problem he had from birth. And part of me sees what happened with this fraud and the subsequent 2 years of him living an almost good life. Part of me looks at it as his life was fucked from birth to death. And let's give him 70 or 80 years of life in a lifespan. Smack dab in the middle of that life, he had a choice to make. That choice was keep on living this fucked life or roll the dice on this fraud. And whereas other people would have had just the motivation of, oh, I'm poor, oh, things haven't worked out for me financially in my career. You know, everyone has those motives. Everyone loves money because money gets you the stuff that you want. It's the universal reward, you know. Whatever it is that you do want, money will pay for it, right? Everyone has that. But Nick Bravo had a lifetime debilitating handicap of his butt ugly face, you know, only a mother could love, that brought him so much grief. He had that extra motivating factor of getting that fixed so that maybe he could have a semblance of a normal life. And I'm guessing here, I'm betting on the probability that he's probably going to go to jail for at least 20 years. And the fact that he got his face fixed before that is a good thing, because he would have been 10 times the amount of someone's bitch in prison had he not fixed himself. He's at least got a fighting chance now, but no one can take those repairs back from him. You know, no one can remove the surgeries. And when he was rolling the dice, maybe he actually thought, you know, there's a good chance I will get caught. And my life would still be better behind bars in prison if I just had a fixed face. If I just had the ability to have a first impression that didn't scare little kids away, you know? And I feel for him with that. I don't think anyone can put themselves in his shoes and really feel what he was going through. The amount of trolling and follow-up from certain YouTubers, you know, wherever he would show up in comment sections, they would remind people, hey, have you seen his Encyclopedia Dramatica? Which is full of things that, you know, you have to take everything there with a grain of salt, but, you know, they were relentless. And I don't know that he deserved it beyond being train wreck, curious, fucking ugly. And for all the ugly that he was on the outside, he was not that ugly of a person, you know? And he'll be gone for probably, the better part of the next 20 years. For the size of bail that they assigned him, he must have done, a pretty good felony. And he won't be here on YouTube anymore. His detractors, his trolls, they've removed many of his accounts anyway through flagging. But what he had left is not going to have any more new posts to it. And it's quite likely that he's going to be in jail throughout the rest of his mother's life. His mother in Nebraska was asking about him on his Facebook, and it was my girlfriend Misty that had the heart to tell her that her son wasn't dead, and gave her the ability to look up on the LA Sheriff's Department's website his information, And I'm not saying that fraud is good, or that anyone should steal from anyone, ever, But I'm saying that I understand, And you might say, well, there's other ways to go about it. You could have a charity fundraiser. You could have a Kickstarter to fix your face. And I'd say at the moment that he decided to do that fraud 2 years ago, he already had enough of a haunting internet presence following him that he was never going to have a Kickstarter. And how many Kickstarters even work anyway, How many charity drives actually achieve their goals? You hear about the ones that do, but there's hundreds for every one that does. Realistically, he did just about the only thing that would have given him 1 year of a semblance of normalcy in his life. And the rest of his life is going to be shit. As someone incarcerated and then as a felon. But it was going to be shit anyway. He had the balls to try to do something about it. Even something kind of cowardly to someone that was already, dead. But I understand that in his position, you'd have to take into account that extra added motivation, And this is the video that I'm leaving behind in lieu of a YouTube aside, because he didn't leave because he wanted to, but he still will be felt as a loss, both by those who love to heckle and parody and lampoon him, and those that actually liked his presence here on YouTube.